Do you love beer? What if I told you that every sip could be sabotaging your penis without you even realizing it? It may seem like an exaggeration. It may even sound like something impossible. But the truth is that the pleasure of drinking a cold beer could be costing you much more than just a few extra calories at the end of the day. Today I'm going to reveal what beer really does to your sexual health, and how it can directly affect your performance, your potency, and even the size of your penis over the years. And look, it's no exaggeration. What you'll discover here could completely change the way you view this seemingly harmless habit. Many people associate beer only with fun, leisure, meeting friends, but few stop to think about the real consequences that frequent alcohol consumption can have on the male body, especially when it comes to intimate health. What few people tell you is that beer, especially consumed excessively and routinely, directly affects testosterone production, impairs blood circulation, and triggers silent inflammatory processes that, over time, undermine your sexual potency from the inside out. It's as if every innocent sip of beer was a small attack on your virility, an almost invisible blow that, added to as the years go by, can have disastrous consequences. Imagine now that you continue drinking your beers on weekends, at parties, on casual dates, thinking that everything is under control. Meanwhile, without you realizing it, the production of testosterone, the main hormone responsible for your libido, your sexual energy, and the maintenance of penile tissue, begins to drop. And it doesn't stop there. The alcohol present in beer also interferes with your body's ability to produce nitric oxide, a vital substance for arteries to expand and allow the blood flow necessary for a firm and long-lasting erection. Without enough nitric oxide, blood doesn't circulate as it should. Result? Weaker erections, loss of sensitivity, and even a noticeable reduction in the size of the erect penis over time. You might think, but it's just a beer every now and then. Except the reality is that for your body, especially after age 40, any excess makes a difference. The ability to recover decreases with age. The impact of bad habits accumulates, and what seems harmless today, tomorrow could turn into a serious problem that affects not only your sex life, but also your self-esteem, your confidence, your quality of life as a man. That's exactly why I invite you to pay close attention to everything I'm going to show you from now on. Because understanding what beer does to your body is the first step towards making smarter choices, preserving your sexual potency, and ensuring that your male health remains strong, active, and vibrant for many years. And no, I'm not going to tell you to never touch a beer again in your life. But I'm going to show you why moderation is much more important than you think, and what can happen if you ignore the signals your body may already be trying to give you. Stay with me until the end of this video, because from now on you will discover in detail everything that beer may be silently causing in your body, and what you can do to reverse or avoid this scenario before it is too late. And for you who are here with me now, listening to this information that few have the courage to say, I want to ask you something very important. If at any point in this video you felt impacted, if any information made sense to you, leave your comment below. I want to hear from you. Did you ever suspect that beer could have such an effect on your male health? Have you ever noticed any changes in your performance after nights of excessive alcohol consumption? Or is this the first time you're hearing about it? Your participation is essential for us to spread this type of content that can save the health of many men who are still in the dark about these issues. Also, enjoy now and leave your like on this video. Your like is like a signal to YouTube that this content is relevant, important, and deserves to be shown to more people. If you believe that men's health is a serious topic that deserves to be treated with clarity and responsibility, your like makes all the difference. It's a simple gesture that takes 2 seconds, but it has a huge impact on the strength of that message. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take the opportunity now to join this community of men who seek knowledge, evolution, and quality of life. Here every week you will find new videos, exclusive content, practical tips, and serious information to protect your prostate, your sexual potency, your vitality, and your future. Don't leave for later what can make a difference in your life from today. Now stay tuned, because what I'm going to show you next will open your eyes even more about the impact of beer on your body. Let's understand exactly what happens inside you every time that cold beer hits your system, and why this, over the years, can take a toll on your intimate health. You may be drinking your sexual potency little by little, without even realizing it, and this is one of the harshest realities that few men want to face. The problem is not the occasional beer at a special celebration. The real problem is the constant repetition, the weekly habit that takes hold, transforming momentary pleasure into a silent attack against your male health, against your potency, and against your virility. Every time you consume beer, you are ingesting a dangerous combination of alcohol and excess sugar. This excess not only overloads your liver, it also starts a process of chronic inflammation in your body's blood vessels. Imagine your vessels as elastic, healthy tubes, ready to expand with every need for increased blood flow, especially during an erection. Now imagine these tubes being slowly hardened, dried out, and plugged by a silent process of continuous inflammation. This is what the alcohol and sugar in beer do to your vascular system. Alcohol, when it enters your body, is not just metabolized and eliminated. It triggers biochemical reactions that profoundly alter your body's physiology. One of the first victims of this cascade of events is testosterone production. Alcohol directly interferes with Leydig cells, responsible for the synthesis of this essential hormone for masculinity. With each sip, your body further reduces the natural production of testosterone, reducing not only your sexual potency, but also your energy, your disposition, your ability to build and maintain muscles, your desire to conquer, your healthy aggression. And what makes the scenario even worse is that, while testosterone falls, estrogen, the female hormone, tends to increase. This silent hormonal reversal slowly, almost imperceptibly shapes your body. More abdominal fat, less muscle mass, more fluid retention, less mental focus, less sexual desire. You look in the mirror and you no longer see that vigorous man you used to be, but you still don't understand what is happening. And meanwhile, beer, disguised as fun, continues to fulfill its destructive role without encountering resistance. Now think about the impact of this on your penis. Blood circulation is essential for an erection to occur. It is the blood under pressure that fills the corpora cavernosa and generates the rigidity necessary for the sexual act. When your vessels are inflamed, hardened, and without their natural elasticity, blood can no longer reach the penis with the necessary force and speed. The result is the progressive loss of the quality of erections. Initially, you may notice that erections take longer to occur. Afterwards, you feel that they are not as firm as before. Then the duration decreases, and ultimately, the ability to get and keep a satisfactory erection becomes a frustrating battle. This process is extremely cruel because it does not give a sudden warning. It slowly erodes your performance, your self-confidence, and your pleasure. You keep thinking that everything is fine, until suddenly you realize that the connection with your partner is no longer the same, that desire no longer appears easily, that the physical response that was once natural now requires effort, concentration, external stimuli. All this because for years, beer had been slowly savoring its sexual potency, drop by drop, without you realizing it. And there's more. The impact is not just physical, it's also psychological. Insecurity in bed creates anxiety, and anxiety in turn makes performance even more difficult. This creates a devastating vicious cycle, where lack of confidence fuels fear, which fuels failure, which further fuels low self-esteem. Many men fall into this trap without even understanding what led them there. The answer often lies in what they've called just a beer to relax for years. If you still think that just one drink on the weekends can't do that much damage, think again. The inflammation that takes place in your vessels does not disappear overnight. It persists, it progresses, it causes cumulative damage. The reduction in testosterone is not reversed by a simple decision to stop drinking. It takes time, dedication, and profound lifestyle adjustments. And in the meantime, each new sip is like pouring more gasoline on that silent fire that burns inside your body, consuming your reserves of virility, energy, and health. It's hard to say this, but necessary. You may be building your own future of powerlessness without realizing it. You may be buying, week after week, the loss of your sexual potency, your ability to fully connect with your partner, your ability to feel intense pleasure, to live your masculinity in a full and vibrant way. And all this in exchange for a few moments of ephemeral pleasure, anesthetized by alcohol, but paid for with very high interest rates in the medium and long term. Now more than ever is the time to reflect, to look at your choices and ask yourself, is this beer today worth the risk of losing my potency tomorrow? Every sip matters. Every repetition of the habit matters. Every weekend counts. Your body registers everything, your circulation feels everything, your penis responds to everything. If you've made it this far, if these words made sense to you, I want to see your commitment recorded in the comments. Right below, I choose to preserve my potency, or my men's health is a priority. Let's show that there are conscious men, men who respect themselves, men who no longer accept silently destroying what is most valuable in their lives. What starts as fun in a glass ends up as frustration in bed. This is a harsh truth that most people choose to ignore until the moment they can no longer do so. And this is precisely what happens when beer consumption, even if moderate, becomes a weekly pattern, an accepted social ritual, but profoundly destructive to male health, sexual potency, and your ability to feel like a complete man. Let's talk bluntly about the direct impact this has on your penis and sexual potency. Every time you consume alcohol, your body reduces testosterone production. And testosterone is much more than just the desire hormone. It is the fuel that feeds your libido, your ability to respond to sexual stimulation, your muscle strength, your daily mood, and even your attitude towards life. When testosterone drops, the first reflex is sexual desire. The desire to connect with a partner decreases. The spontaneous interest in sex is being replaced by a feeling of indifference, of tiredness, of "we'll see later." This loss of desire is devastating not only for sexual life, but also for men's self-esteem. A man who doesn't feel constant desire, who doesn't have that flame burning inside him, will lose his shine, motivation, and, in many cases, even the will to fight for his goals. And it all starts silently in the simple act of drinking beer every week. But the problem doesn't stop there. Chronic inflammation caused by alcohol directly attacks the blood vessels that should supply the penis with abundant blood. Strong, long-lasting erections are absolutely dependent on healthy circulation. When the vessels are inflamed, rigid, and compromised, the blood cannot fill the corpora cavernosa with the necessary pressure. The result is weaker, shorter, and much less satisfying erections. The man feels the difference. The partner notices. The relationship begins to suffer. This weakening of the erection is not just a mechanical issue, it affects the psychological aspect in full. Every time the erection doesn't match the desire, every time the performance disappoints, the mind registers a failure, and that failure fuels fear, insecurity, and inevitably performance anxiety. And we all know that anxiety is one of the worst enemies of sexual life, creating a vicious cycle where the fear of failure increases the chance of failure even more. As if all this weren't alarming enough, regular beer consumption also causes visible bodily changes that directly impact the perception of masculinity. Excess alcohol favors the accumulation of fat, especially in the abdominal region. And this abdominal fat is not just aesthetic, it is metabolically active, producing estrogen and creating a vicious circle of hormonal decline, loss of virility, and worsening circulation. Furthermore, the accumulation of fat around the pelvis creates a direct visual effect on the penis. It appears smaller. Yes, that's right. The fat that accumulates at the base of the penis covers part of its visible length. It's not that the penis actually decreases in size, but visually, the perception is of shortening, and this perception directly affects a man's confidence in the relationship. Imagine the sequence: less desire, weaker erections, less sensitivity, fat accumulation, visual decrease in penis size, low self-esteem, increased sexual anxiety. All of this happening in slow motion, without fanfare, week after week, while you still believe that it's just a weekend beer. As you relax, your body accumulates damage. While you have fun in the glass, frustration builds up in bed. And it is necessary to understand that this destruction is not inevitable. It is avoidable, but it depends on your conscience, your decision to change, your willingness to protect what is most precious to you. Every glass of beer that you decide to refuse, every weekend that you choose to take care of your health instead of getting intoxicated, is an investment in your power, in your energy, in your ability to live your sexuality with freedom and fullness. If you continue to ignore these signals, the price will be high. What today seems like just a slight drop in the firmness of erections, tomorrow could turn into total impotence. What today seems like just a subtle decrease in desire, tomorrow could be the complete death of libido. What today is just an aesthetic discomfort could tomorrow be the shame, frustration and deep sadness of those who know they could have done something to avoid it, but chose to ignore it. Now that you know this, the choice is yours. And the real question that remains is, will you continue repeating the same patterns that are destroying you? Or will you act now to protect your potency, your health, your life? If you felt this call, if you understand that it is time to take control of your life, write here in the comments, "I choose to protect my manhood," or "My power is my priority." I want to see who are the men who will take this step with courage and determination. It is possible to enjoy social moments without destroying your intimate health. This is a truth that needs to be said clearly, because the idea here was never to make you become an extremist, live isolated, or be afraid to enjoy leisure time. It's not about never touching a glass of beer again. It's about having awareness, balance, and respect for your body so that you can maintain your potency, health, and vitality in the long term. Yes, there is a smart way to enjoy social life without giving up your virility, and the secret is in real moderation, and not that excuse that many people use to continue exaggerating. Drinking less, drinking better, and drinking consciously are attitudes that make all the difference in the impact that alcohol will have on your body. Firstly, it is essential to reduce frequency. If today you have a habit of drinking every weekend, you already know that this constant repetition is the greatest enemy. Instead, turn drinking into a truly special occasion, something sporadic, reserved for unique moments, and not an automatic routine. This already drastically reduces inflammation in your body, protects your blood vessels, and preserves your testosterone production. In addition to reducing frequency, quantity matters a lot. Instead of drinking several cans in a row without even realizing it, set a clear limit for yourself. 1 or 2 units at most on a specific occasion is something that the body can process and recover more easily, without leaving such deep scars in its vascular and hormonal system. Small changes generate big results when they become consistent. Another absolutely essential point is hydration. Most of the negative effects of alcohol are worsened by the dehydration it causes. Drinking beer dehydrates the body because alcohol has a diuretic effect, meaning it makes you eliminate more fluids than you consume. This compromises blood viscosity, impairs circulation, affects tissue oxygenation, and worsens internal inflammation. Therefore, for every glass of beer, it is essential to drink at least 1 glass of pure water. This simple habit greatly reduces the impact of alcohol on your body, protects your circulation, and facilitates the elimination of toxins. And here comes another fundamental pillar to protect your intimate health: regular physical exercise. Movement is one of the best antidotes to the silent damage caused by alcohol. When you exercise, especially with strength training and cardiovascular exercises, you stimulate the production of testosterone, improve the elasticity of blood vessels, increase blood circulation to all tissues, including the penis, and reduce systemic inflammation. Exercises such as weight training, running, cycling, swimming, and even vigorous walking help keep your cardiovascular system active and healthy. They promote the release of nitric oxide, improve endothelial health, and ensure that your body is prepared to better deal with occasional small excesses. Furthermore, regular training reduces abdominal fat, rebalances hormonal levels, and keeps penile sensitivity high, protecting your sexual responsiveness. In other words, by combining moderation in alcohol consumption, conscious hydration, and physical exercise, you create a protective shield around your male health. You ensure that each sip of beer, when consumed sporadically and intelligently, does not become a silent agent of destruction of its potency. And most importantly, you keep living. Continue enjoying social moments, parties, meetings with friends, family barbecues. But now, you do it wisely, without being hostage to automatic habit, without being manipulated by momentary pleasure that turns into long-term frustration. Life is made of choices, and the choice to live with power, energy, and pleasure is within your reach. You don't need to deprive yourself of everything, but you need to learn to put your health first. True pleasure comes from freedom. Freedom to know that your body is strong, that your potency is preserved, that your virility is intact. And this freedom only comes to those who act intelligently, and not to those who blindly surrender to immediate pleasures. If you understand this and apply these changes in your daily life, you will notice the difference in a few months. Your sexual desire will strengthen, Your erections will become firmer and more reliable. Your daily energy will increase. Your body will respond better. Your mind will become more focused. Your self-esteem will skyrocket. You will feel more manly, stronger, more alive. And all of this starts with simple choices. Drink less, hydrate more, move every day, and take care of your body as it deserves. Small daily attitudes, applied consistently, have the power to completely transform your future. Now I want to hear from you. After hearing all this, are you willing to make these changes to protect your intimate health and guarantee your potency for many, many years? If the answer is yes, comment below, "I choose to live at full power," or "My health is my priority." I want to see who is really committed to real transformation. If you stayed with me until the end of this video, it shows that you are different from most, that you really care about your health, your strength, and your freedom to live your best life. Now I want to see you making this commitment publicly. Comment below, "I choose to live at full power," or "My men's health is my priority." Your comment is very important to strengthen this current of conscious men who want more energy, more power, and more freedom. Leave your like right now because it helps boost this message to reach even more men who need to wake up to this urgent reality. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, take advantage of this moment. Subscribe now and activate the bell, because here every week you will receive content that can transform your life. And don't leave without watching the next video that is already appearing here on the screen. There I'll reveal more practical strategies to further strengthen your men's health and ensure you live to your fullest potential. See you there.